Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion, located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street, in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. And by Pete's Pizza, celebrating 40 years serving the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls area. Pete's Pizza. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about finding pizza. If you're hungry, visit petespizzaniagara.ca. Celebrating 5 years. This is Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
What sent Sylester Stallone to the hospital in the movie Rocky IV?
Is there wood in space? Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. And this week, we scoured the internet and have been scouring the internet for over 5 years to get this information just for you.
Plus, we'll answer your question in the mailbag and in the news. Wait a minute. In the land of Down Under, you want me to measure my what?
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
I get it, Nick. Everybody gets it, Nick. We understand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All about sex.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you very much. Week after week, over 75 countries are listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We're really, really excited. We are going to come up with a Christmas special coming up in a few weeks. We'll tell you all about that. We'll tell you how to reach our show because you can actually leave us a voice message from our website, all kinds of great stuff. But in the meantime, because we're talking about sex, we want to make sure that everyone is comfortable in their own skin.
The following segment of the Totally Useless Information podcast may be too sultry and too sexy for some listeners.
Let me give you my teaser right away because I know where you went, right? Because what was the teaser? Is there wood in space? Okay.
Yes.
I'd
like to know.
According to an interview with Men's Health magazine, astronaut Michael Mullane said that a couple of times on his space missions, he actually can get wood that could have drilled through kryptonite, according to him. And so a retired Russian cosmonaut wrote in his diary that psychological support service sent us some nice, colorful movies which helped to recover, well, to act like a normal adult would sort of behave. There's nothing to be ashamed of. So basically what we're asking is, are you able to, well, get wood in space? As far as we know, okay, no one's joined the 62-mile high club in terms of the female persuasion, but you would probably most have to Velcro yourself together to make it easier, just as you do for sleeping, because you just can't, like, float in space and then, get wood. They Velcro themselves to the wall. You probably do something like that to make it easier and just logistically possible to have sex even. So, yes, you can, but the physics are a lot different because of the lack of gravity.
Remember we interviewed the guy living underwater, and he was talking about testing those things because of the pressure?
That's right.
I guess it's the same thing in space.
100%. Dr. Dettori.
But in Spain, a study was done. 1,000 people, men and women, were studied. 90% of the men and women that were interviewed were satisfied with their sex lives.
Mm-hmm.
But they found that women were less satisfied when their partner's economic status lowered. So it's true. Size does matter. The size of your wallet. Can you imagine? The men didn't say that about the women. The women said if their male partner's economic status lowered, they were less satisfied with sex.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you said, the size of their wallet. You know that the famous tagline from one of those advertisers, what's in your wallet? So here's another question. Here's another personal question to you and the audience. Have you ever had a three-way? And I'm not talking about light bulbs.
No, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm married. I'm married too long to answer that question.
Right. Okay. So, adamandeve.com, okay, or adameve.com, America's most trusted source for adult products, they say. They are back with some results for their new annual sex survey, and I'm sure I read that right. This month, the Sex Positive Company asked over 1,000 adults how many of them have ever participated in a threesome. And guess what? Thruples, or triads, or three relationships, or whatever, are nothing new. So according to their latest survey, they revealed that nearly half of those polled, which were 59% males and 37% females, said that they engaged in a three-way, and basically 48% said that they had not. So it's almost split down the middle. Those who said that they did not are complete liars, because they said only 3% of those polled, they said, no, we won't answer that question.
Yeah, I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell you. It's kind of like a little trick question the way they said it. They said half of the people that were polled.
That's right.
We waste so much money, Nick. This world, we waste so much money on these stupid, useless studies.
Mm-hmm.
But very few of them are as useless as the one I'm about to say.
Okay.
It seems that people who use the illegal drug methamphetamine,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
people that use that are more likely to have unsafe sex.
Oh.
Yes, a completely stoned drug addict is less likely to worry about diseases.
Right.
You think
100.
we needed to spend money on this study?
Well, you said it's a useless study. Thank goodness we named the show Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. So as we record this particular episode, we're approaching the winter season. And my question to the audience is, do you have a winter penis? A doctor is warning to watch out for the winter penis. It's a seasonal condition that may hinder a man's ability to perform sexually properly. As the temperature drops, the male genitalia recedes into the body to maintain body heat, resulting in restricted.
Speak for yourself.
I'm not. No. I'm not. This is not a confessional. This is not a monologue. I'm not saying this is what happened to me. Okay, I do live in Canada. I rest my case. The phenomenon, which affects men of all ages, can cause the male member to shrink by 50%. While slowed circulation making achieving an erection difficult when the thermometer drops.
Okay. Another study. College age men think about sex 18 times a day, whereas college age women think of sex 10 times per day. But that's a no-brainer. College kids think about sex all the time, right?
Right.
But here's the catch, and this is what caught my attention. The same men who were studied said they think about food and sleep 18 times a day. So they think about food and sleep as much as sex.
Wow.
Now, could be that after you have sex, you're hungry and tired. So maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to piece this together.
17, 18. Okay, I'm ready for my next fact. So,
boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, you think about sex the same speed as you have sex.
18, 19, 20. Vibrators were first developed as a medical device. The vibrator.
Oh, yes.
The vibrator was invented in 1869. I'm telling you, that's the year that they said that the vibrator was invented as a treatment for hysteria, or, as they put it, female disorders. Whenever a woman reported being mentally or emotionally upset, it was considered an illness. The cure? Using a large steam-powered massager. Okay? A steam-powered one to massage.
I'll do it every time.
Yeah. To massage the genital area with the goal of inducing hysterical paroxysm. which is the Victoria term for orgasm, but at least they had.
That gives new meaning, Nick, to the term "more wood, please."
Yes, for the
steam
steam.
engine.
So I don't know. Like, never mind curing the hysteria, according to them in 1869, but wouldn't the steam like burn your skin? Like,
See,
wow.
that took a couple seconds.
Yeah. Wow.
Now we have all kinds of antidepressants. They should just go back to the steam engine. Probably would help.
Yes.
Tried and true methods,
Yeah.
As heard here on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Yep.
Okay, here's one, guys.
All right.
Get your pencils ready. Post-coital dysphoria.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know this is a disease that many of Nick's girlfriends suffered from.
Wait. Hold on. Look,
Yes.
you just can't just drop that and let it go. Some of them suffered with pre-coital dysphoria.
It's dysphoria.
Yeah.
But you added hysteria because you were thinking about the truth.
That's right. Absolutely. Ask them.
Post-coital dysphoria is the post-sex blues. After having sex, 33% of 200 younger women said that they experienced a blue melancholy feeling after having sex. If I don't say it, nobody will.
Yes, exactly. It's like when you say, well, I'm dating myself. Well, no one else would. Speaking of surprises, go to nickandroy.com, and that's our website, and you can do many things there. First of all, you visit the Nick and Roy store. You can order your loved one a birthday message, nickandroy.com, the Nick and Roy store. But also on nickandroy.com, you check out our sponsors, but also you have an opportunity for you to leave a voicemail message for us. Just click on the button there. It says leave a message for Nick and Roy, and then we'll get it, and then we'll play it for you on the show. And you can ask us a question. You can give us a comment, whatever you want. This is your chance to be on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, heard worldwide in over 75 countries and all over North America. nickandroy.com.
Nick and Roy will continue with Totally Useless Information. Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy continues. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Nick and Roy standing under a street lamp. Fogs as thick as peanut butter. They're talking totally useless, I tell you, useless information about the movies. Wait a minute. These guys are a couple of frames short of a reel.
She does such a great job, that voice lady. A couple of...
Yeah. She scares me with the food one when she screams, "Come and get it."
Yeah,
she gets me
exactly.
a little scared, yeah.
But yeah, so here we haven't done movies in a while, so I'm going to give you some movies that were based on true events. Now, we all remember the movie Footloose with Kevin Bacon, 1984. That's the year you got married, isn't it? Yeah, 1984. It tells the story.
Yeah, 1984 was the year I got married, and I thought the movie Footloose was about me not wearing pants.
Right, exactly. It told the story of a town where dancing was made illegal and pants were also required. So, according to a strict pastor, dancing was illegal. In the film, a group of high school students get the law overturned just in time for the prom. Well, the film was set in a town in Oklahoma, and that town actually exists. In 1979, a group of high school students went up against their local minister who believed dancing was the tool of the devil, and so they overturned it just in time for the prom.
Oh, wow. So it is a true story. It was a good movie, too. Did you ever see the movie Now You See Me?
No, I didn't.
It's a great movie. It's like these magicians that rob money, and they do it by doing all these illusions and stuff. The actress Isla Fisher, while filming the underwater trick in the movie Now You See Me, she almost drowned for real.
Oh.
They literally had a problem, and that's that Houdini-looking trick where they lowered her into the water and she was kind of locked up and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, she almost drowns in the movie.
Oh.
and her name is Isla Fisher, and she was an actress on the movie set of Now You See Me.
In the movie It Could Happen to You, 1994, it was a rom-com starring one of your favorites, Nicolas Cage. It tells the story of a police officer who buys a lottery ticket and agrees to split the winnings with a waitress instead of giving her a tip. What a cheapskate, huh? Well, guess what?
Yeah.
He winds up winning $6 million in the lottery, and he honors his agreement. And just as in real life police officer Robert Cunningham did, the same thing happened to him. And yes, he did share his winnings with the waitress as he promised as her tip.
Boy, the service must have been real good. I got 3 million reasons why not to do that.
Right, exactly.
In The Sound of Music, what a great film, right? It starts off, she's running up the hill, screaming, "The hills are alive!"
Just
right?
like that, yeah.
And it's this massive panoramic view of the Alps.
Right.
Well, let me tell you how that was done. The opening scene, the camera was attached to a helicopter. They didn't have drones and things like that back then.
Right.
So it was attached to a full-size helicopter, which would fly over her in different directions to get these panoramic views. But every time, and there were 6 passes of the helicopter to get those scenes, every time it would pass, it would hit her with rocks, mud, and hay. So every time the helicopter passed, they had to stop and get the hay out of her hair, and and that's probably why she's spinning around like a whirling dervish, because every time the helicopter came, she probably spun around because she was getting hit with rocks in the head. She's not all there, that actress, anyway. So
well, come on, she was
what was her name?
Julia Andrews. She's one of the finest vocalists of our
Andrews.
time.
Yeah, I heard she had some issues.
1965 was when the movie came out. Of course, yeah, but they were quite creative in trying to come up with that shot. What a beautiful scenery that was. And
a nun having coitus with a guy.
Yeah, but
it's a real nice story. It's a beautiful story.
Well, first of all, my theme with all my movies are based on a true story. So that truly was a Van Trapp family that that really happened to. So the theme fits, right? But apparently, here's an added bonus to your Sound of Music, because there's a totally useless information with Nick and Roy, of course. And so she took guitar lessons in order for her to play the guitar parts in that movie. So it wasn't her just pretending. She was actually playing the guitar while she was dodging rocks and hay and mud. How about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah, that sounds about right for you.
Nick. Yeah. Yes, it's based on my life story. Before becoming an acting icon, Michael Douglas produced One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He acquired the rights to the Ken Casey novel from his father, Kirk Douglas. The film received critical and popular acclaim, of course, and won the Academy Award for Best Picture, earning Douglas the first Oscar as one of the film's producers.
It was a great film.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, but
I love when they're sitting in the thing and he goes, "Give Martini the cigarettes." It's such a great film. The voice of the character Shrek, and you're going to love this, Nick, it was originally given to Chris Farley, the comedian Chris Farley.
Wow.
He recorded 85% of the lines. Only 15% of the lines were needed to be done when he died of a drug overdose. They eventually, Disney said, well, we can't use this because drugs and things, it's bad for Disney's image. How times have changed. Okay, but they give it to Michael Myers, and he gets the nod, and he records the voice of Shrek.
Oh, Mike Myers, fellow Canadian, I might add, is an extremely talented actor. And, of course, he was on Saturday Night Live. He came up with Wayne's World. And, of course, the Austin Powers series of movies that were really fantastic.
You know, the TV show, The Gong Show, the reboot, the remake of it, he plays a character that nobody knows called an English actor. I forget the name, but he's in a costume and nobody knows it. They never said it.
Oh.
So if you guys ever want to watch the new Gong Show, Bobby Maitland was the name he used. Bobby Maitland.
Yeah.
Watch it, guys. It's pretty funny. And he doesn't tell anybody it's him. Pretty wild.
It is. So we told you about our birthday messages on nickandroy.com, the Nick and Roy store, and this next movie fact comes from one of the recent birthdays that we recorded for somebody, because they were a big fan of My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And so, as we told her on her special birthday message, My Big Fat Greek Wedding was based on a play. Actress Nia Vardalos wasn't getting much work, and so she created a one-woman stage play about her life. And if you remember in the movie during the wedding scene that all of the guests were there, you're thinking, oh, maybe there were extras that were hired for that movie. No, all of the guests on the bride's side were actually Nia Vardalos' family. So they actually were invited to her wedding in the movie. Now, there are a couple of Canadian connections. Now, despite being based on a Greek community in Winnipeg, the film was set in Chicago, and the film was actually shot in Toronto and Chicago. And one of the worries about it was a really small budget film, and one of the worries is that they wouldn't have enough food, have enough money for food. So that was never an issue, because whenever they were filming, there was always a Greek restaurant nearby that would send them over food. And in fact, in Toronto, there's a section of our town called Greek Town. It's like several blocks of nothing but Greek restaurants. It's just a great neighborhood called Greek Town. And some of the scenes, of course, were shot there. And there were plenty of Greek food to go around.
Opa!
Opa! Yes.
Here's my teaser, Nick.
Yes.
In Rocky IV, Sylester Stallone, who was unhappy with the punches from the movie Rocky III, and I agree, if you really look at it, you'll see that a lot of the punches where his head's going back, it's not even close,
Yeah.
So he was upset about that, and he wanted Rocky IV to look more realistic. So he asked Dolph Lundgren, who played Drago, he said, when we get to the shots where we're hitting each other in the body, I want you to actually hit me in the body. So he took one or two shots that were and he said, no, if you're going to make it look realistic, you really got to hit me. And so Dolph Lundgren hauls off and hits him a shot, and Stallone goes to the ICU unit for 9 days.
Oh.
Broke a rib. You going to hit me or what? Hey, Adrian, you did good.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
Attention, men. It's Black Friday, the absolute best time to restock your wardrobe. Look your best from the office, events, or nights out.
Hi, Nick and Roy for Tom's Place, and they have you covered with sharp business casuals, stylish sports jackets, and sophisticated suits or tuxedos, brand-name labels for less. Along with the Black Friday sale, Tom is introducing Making the Great Canadian Suit Sale Great Again sale.
I love that. That's awesome. So unlock their door crashers. You see how I did that, Nick? Unlock the door crashers. But get ready, guys. Top designers, Ted Baker suits. I love Ted Baker suits.
Regularly $900 to $1,100. Now an incredible $500. Did you hear that? Normally $900 to $1,100. The Ted Baker suits now $500. I was talking to Tom just this morning, and I told him that you and I were going to talk about this, and told me that Ted Baker suits are made in Italy and Canada, exquisite tailoring, and of course, they can be altered to any measure that you need because they have amazing tailors at Tom's Place. Don't miss this exclusive deal.
Now, Nick, I have over 28 suits and suit jackets, and sport coats. And my favorites are Ted Baker. They are tailored so perfectly. And $500 for a Ted Baker suit. Anybody that's ever bought one knows you're going to pay $1,000 for that suit. But not at Tom's Place. You can also find selected dress shirts for only $60 and designer suits starting at $650. Tom's slashing them to $375. Or an amazing, get ready for this one, 3 suits for $1,000.
Wow.
You can update your wardrobe for $1,000. Plus 50% off a huge selection of sports jackets. And there's more. Prices are slashed on the whole second floor for suits, sports jackets, dress shirts, and pants.
There's a lot of information that came your way. You can find all of this at their website, Tom's website, at toms-place.com. That's toms-place.com for details and more amazing deals. Tom's Place Black Friday sale is now on 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of Kensington Market.
And that's Tom's Place. Will suit you.
We're back with totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Down the garden path with Nick and Roy.
Lovely. Not lovely?
It's her again.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one.
Yeah?
Vanilla comes, we know that artificial vanilla comes from the anal gland of a beaver.
That's
But
right.
that's from like episode 2 or 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, early on in the 5 years we've done
Yeah.
the show, yes.
Yeah, but vanilla, the actual real vanilla, comes from the pods from the orchid variety of plant. Though the pods are called vanilla beans,
Okay.
they're not beans at all. Like they're not vanilla beans. They're more like green beans. The pod itself is where the vanilla comes from. So it's more like a green bean than it is an actual vanilla bean that gets squeezed. The pod gets squeezed.
Okay. So
It's useless.
it is. Well, you don't have to go searching for a beaver.
Yeah, exactly.
Pine trees can tell if it's about to rain. If you want to hang out, now I don't know if anybody still does this, but do you still hang out your laundry in the yard or something, or do you use a dryer?
No, Nick, we're civilized.
But those of you in our audience, I mean, you're all civilized because you're all listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. If you hang out your washing and you need to know if it's going to rain, you can reduce your anxiety by looking for the nearest pine tree instead of your weather app. When it's about to rain, the air turns humid and pine cones close up. The cones close as the scales absorb moisture and shield the seeds until it isn't so wet. If the cones are open, then you can rejoice in the good weather and then you can put out all of your bloomers and stuff out to dry. So, yes, pine trees can tell if it's about to rain.
The potatoes, a staple in every diet pretty much. They're from Ireland, right?
Yeah, they are.
Irish eat lots of potato.
Yeah.
In fact, an Irish 7-course meal is a potato and a 6-pack of beer.
Right. So hold on. Let me just tell the audience, you go to nickandroy.com, click on Contact Us to send your complaints. Go on.
I'll hit you with my shillelagh.
So what? So wait. Are you telling us that potatoes are not?
Nick, should go and frog yourself.
Yeah. Well, unless you're in space. So you're telling us that potatoes are not from Ireland?
Yeah, we need to discuss this, Nick, because potatoes are nowhere near from Ireland. In fact, they're from Peru, and they date back 7,000 years. They have found 7,000-year-old potatoes. Trust me, I got them in my French fries at McDonald's.
Okay. Sure.
Now, there's 7,000-year-old potatoes were found in Peru. So they date the potato back to Peru.
Yeah, you dated a potato once too, but she was lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She could hear anything. She had a lot of ears.
For those of you members of our audience who have young kids and they don't want to eat fruit, right? They get really, really, really fussy with that. There's a fruit that tastes like chocolate pudding. There's your solution. So it's black sapote, I think it's pronounced that way, also known as black soap apple. It's a tropical fruit found in Colombia, Belize, Costa Rica, and other countries in South and Central America. It looks like a flattened tomato and has a taste that resembles chocolate pudding. Reports say that the fruit has a creamy custard-like texture with a sweet taste. So, go to South America and get a whole bunch of these, what do they call them again? They call them the black sapote or black soap apple, and they'll think they're eating chocolate pudding.
Ginkgo biloba.
Watch your language.
It does sound like a curse word. Ginkgo biloba, a girl that Nick dated in high school. No, ginkgo biloba is used in many herbal supplements. It's really good for your immune system and so on. It's been used for thousands of years by the Chinese and so on. It is one of the oldest tree species in the world, and it dates back, they're recording 250 million years back.
Oh.
Ginkgo biloba. Yep, one of the oldest living tree species.
How about the biggest garden in the world? The biggest. It covers 72 square kilometers and contains over 60 million flowers. And it is in, the name of the biggest garden in the world is Dubai Miracle Garden in Dubai. It was specifically built to take advantage of the hot climate. The park is completely redesigned every season, and recent attractions include a life-size Emirates Airbus A380 covered in petunias, marigolds, snapdragons, and geraniums, and a lot more. So over 60 million flowers in the Dubai Miracle Garden.
Okay, the longest living, and this is continuous living species on Earth, is the Equisotopsida, Equisotopsida, known as the horsetail. Okay, and I actually looked up a picture of it. It looks more like a flower almost. The oldest living continuous species on Earth, over 300 million years, they believe. In ancient times and back in the prehistoric periods, it grew 98.4 feet tall.
Wow. Hey, look at all the pretty gardens. Gardening for aesthetic pleasure rather than food or medicine has been recorded since ancient Egypt, where images survive showing ornamental plants. So the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were built in the modern-day Iraq in the 6th century BC. It probably was a gift to the wife of the king, as she was said to miss her lush, mountainous homeland in the barren desert. It suggested that the original purpose of ornamental gardens were to provide shade under trees and create cooling ponds and pools. So that's where the ornamental gardens came, as opposed to, gardens for food or medicine.
Isn't that one of the 7 ancient wonders?
I wonder.
The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, I think, is one of the 7. You're making fun of me. With my horsetail.
Yeah. I'll spank you with my horsetail. Ooh. Caligula had a garden. By the time of his assassination in 41 AD, the Roman Emperor Caligula was infamous for his violent streak and extravagant amusements. Yeah, we'll call it that.
He was so nasty and violent, he wouldn't even pull the potatoes out of the ground. He'd mash them right there.
Right there, yes. So he had a precious colored marble space. Exotic animals roamed there. But according to the New York Times, the remains of this pleasure garden, known as Horti Lamiani, are set to go on a public display beneath the streets of Rome. Italy's Minister of Cultural Heritage, Cultural Activities and Tourism plans to open the subterranean gallery dubbed the Nymphaeum Museum of Piazza Vittorio. The ruins will tell stories, starting with the animals. I bet they would. It's not hard to imagine animals, some caged and some running wild, in this enchanting setting. So Caligula had a garden, and he had all kinds of activities with animals in those gardens, if you can imagine.
What he was doing with those animals, too.
Yeah, he was breeding them.
He was like, oh, look, I bumped into the sheep. I bumped in again. And
his last words were, bah!
It's like, Caligula, any side effects? Nah. Okay, my pineapple. If you go on nickandroy.com, you're going to see my pineapple.
What?
Now, remember when we were kids?
Yeah.
You would cut the top of the pineapple off and you would stick the toothpicks in it and then sit it in a glass of water.
Right.
That's not the way to do it.
No.
Very quickly, just so that you know this is garden. So you grab the bottom of the pineapple and hold it really tight. You twist the top of the stalk, the leafy looking things.
Uh-huh.
You hold it tight and twist it it will come right off. And it looks like a little thing on the bottom that, that comes off. Pull out a few of the bottom leafy green things, like 2 tiers or 3 tiers. You'll see little nobular things. Then you sit it in a glass. The leaves will hold it up out of the water.
Yes, and you get to check out Roy's pineapple at nickandroy.com.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. You know, in October, we all had a great time celebrating Pizza Month. Now that we're in a new month, any time of the year is a good time to visit Pete's Pizza.
I say when it comes to Pete's, every month is Pizza Month, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Pete's Pizza knows the only way to make a perfect pizza is by using the freshest ingredients.
Every day they roll out with their own dough to create their signature pizzas.
Since 1984, the 6 Niagara locations have been known as the small pizzerias that are big on taste and easy on your budget. With locations across St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, you're just minutes away from some of the best pizza and wings in town.
Always open late. Find a Pete's Pizza near you.
I don't know about you, Nick. I'll tell you, I'm starting to feel hungry just talking about Pete's Pizza.
Yeah.
If you've never had Pete's Pizza, you have to try it. And go to their website, Pete'sPizzaNiagara.ca. That's Pete'sPizzaNiagara.ca.
By the way, Roy, they called me the other day. They said, please tell Roy, stop licking the screen. Check out their specially marked pizza boxes. When you go to Pete's Pizza and order a pizza, Roy and I have provided useless pizza facts. So when you go there, look for those specially marked boxes. It's a lot of fun. You know, they've been around for 40 years, and Pete's Pizza is family owned and operated. They began at one location off Pleasant Avenue in St. Catharines, and over 40 years later, the original shop at 6 Pleasant Avenue is still open, as well as the other locations in St. Catharines and Niagara Falls to serve you. So if you're hungry, just like Roy is, visit their website, Pete'sPizzaNiagara.ca. That's Pete'sPizzaNiagara.ca.
Plus, they're the greatest people in the world. They do so much for the community. Life is not about finding yourself, Nick. Life is about finding pizza.
Pete's Pizza.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
So as we mentioned to you earlier in the show, all you have to do is go to our website, check out the Nick and Roy store for some exciting stuff for the birthday messages. And you can also send us an email.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
My mailbag comes from William from San Francisco, California. One of the many cities that listen to us all over North America, and like we said, 75 countries. He writes, Dear Nick and Roy, we love listening to your show every week. I discovered your show while scrolling through my Spotify feed. Then I saw you on Apple Podcasts. You guys are hilarious, and I can't wait to hear more of you guys. That's right. We're on all of the major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever, you get your iHeartRadio. We're on the podcast there. We're also all over the iHeartRadio network in Canada, coast to coast to coast, and all, of course, it can be said around the world. So here's his question. William from San Francisco. Well, I was brushing my teeth one day, and I noticed that on the tube of the toothpaste, there were several symbols with different colors. So I wondered, could Nick and Roy answer this question? What are those markings for? Well, first of all, William, thank you very much for your trust in us and providing you totally useless information. The symbols with different colors on a toothpaste tube, by the way, is simply a mark made by and during the manufacturing process. The marks are read by light beam sensors, which notify machines where the packaging should be cut, folded, or sealed. It has nothing to do with the ingredients or the formulation of the toothpaste. Simply, it's just a way to cut it and package it properly. Thank you.
So I got a cool one here. Petra from New Delhi. But she's sneaky, Petra.
Why?
She forced me to read hers, and you'll see why.
Okay.
It says, I want to thank you guys so much for your great podcast. My husband and I have now listened to every single episode, and look forward every week to a new episode. We have listened, we have laughed, and we have learned. Thanks so much. Please keep an eye out the next week or two for a birthday message from my husband. See
Oh,
how
okay.
she did that, Nick?
Yeah.
She got us to read it by telling us she was going to do the birthday message. Sneaky Petra from New Delhi.
Yeah, but hold on,
we
though.
thank-
I want to thank her for the email, but what if her husband listens to our show? It won't be a surprise, would it?
Yeah. Yeah, Petra's not too smart. No. Sorry, Petra. You are smart for listening to the show.
That's right.
The
Well,
rest of your social functions are all screwed up.
well, that's why we say on the show, listen, laugh, and learn, right?
You know, it's funny. We get so many emails, and we want to thank everybody because we can't read them all.
Right.
Okay. But honestly, we get so many emails from people telling us how it's changed their lives to learn this, what we call useless information.
On the show today, we talked about sex. It's been a while. We talked about garden. We talked about movies. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
Australia's leading research, their agency, the CSIRO, is asking people across the nation to track their flatulence over 3 days, through a free and a funny fart app.
Okay. I'm already up to 4.
Now, there's a serious part of this as well, because it's going to help this information, the research details will help the scientists better understand gut health of people aged 14 and over across the nation. It's hard to stifle a giggle with the app asking participants to record not just when they passed wind, but to rate the fart's characteristics. Did you know there were characteristics?
Yes, mine have been called silent but deadly.
Well, you're close. So some of the characteristics, according to this app, are, and for those participants to rate their farts, charting stench, okay, from odorless to toxic, loudness, from silent to deafening. There's duration, from brief to eternity, the lingering effect, and its detectability. Kind of like whoever smelt it dealt it kind of thing, right? Now, we all know that passing wind is a natural occurrence and a sign that our digestive system is actually working as it should to expel excess gas that's produced from breaking down and processing the food that we eat, according to the research. Now, different foods and medical conditions, or even the way we chew or swallow, can have an impact on how your body processes the excess gas, leading to different smells, frequency, or volume. So, yeah.
You know, Nick, I received a phone call from Donald Trump,
Right.
President-elect Donald Trump, by the way.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
But he called me and he said he believes that I spew so much natural gas that I alone could make America great again.
Yes.
Or I could make America smell again.
Right. Exactly. Smell better. The research.
You know you're releasing too much gas, Nick, when all your friends are standing upwind.
Yes, exactly. And some believe that, maybe the president-elect has a lot of hot air, but that's just one other person's opinion, not mine. Not necessarily.
It's maybe 47%'s opinion, but not 53.
Right. So according to this survey, some 60% of those surveyed reported excessive flatulence, with almost half of them saying that they believe it has something to do with their medical condition. So it's like, yeah, pardon me, I'm lactose intolerant, and I forgot about that. So
medical condition called eating too much tacos.
yeah. So according to the U.S. National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, studies have reported that people who pass wind between 8 and 14 times a day on average, but sometimes up to 25 times what experts believe to be normal.
I would think that most listeners, and please send us emails.
Wait,
I don't think.
Wait, hold on. What kind of emails? What kind of emails?
Yeah, just write it down and throw it into the wind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, really, honestly, I need people to write in. Do people honestly fart 18 to 25 times a day?
According to the study. According to
Do you, Nick?
Yeah.
We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Let's find out. So nickandroy.com, click on contact us. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm asking you though, Nick. Do you have flatulence 18 times a day?
No, I would say it's getting really personal now. Between 10 and 12 that I remember.
Wow. You got a problem. No,
Yes.
no.
Exactly.
See, me, I only do it like 2 or 3 times a day, but I make them worthwhile.
Right. They're memorable. Speaking of memorable, that's all the time that we have for this episode of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Thank you very much for joining us. All of the 75 countries around the world, coast to coast to coast in Canada on the iHeartRadio network, and of course, on all of the podcast platforms. We thank you very much, and we ask you to tune in next week because we will scour the internet and other sources to get totally useless information just for you.
Till then, tell everybody about the show because it's because of you that it's become this popular.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy has been brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion. Located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. And by Pete's Pizza, celebrating 40 years serving the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls area. Pete's Pizza. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about finding pizza. If you're hungry, visit petespizzaniagara.ca.